When you finally decide to be responsible with money, you stop spending as much, you avoid risks, you keep your money safe, and for a moment, you feel like you're doing the right thing, like you're ahead of the game. But then, you look at your bank account months later, and something feels off. It's not growing, not really, and in the back of your mind, a quiet question starts to show up. Wait, why does this feel like I'm not getting anywhere? Yeah, most people won't say it out loud, but they feel it, because here's the uncomfortable truth. Being responsible with money can actually keep you stuck, not because responsibility is bad, but because most people misunderstand what it actually means. And when you look at the real numbers, you start to realize something surprising. A lot of people who think they're doing everything right are slowly falling behind. Not all at once, not dramatically, just quietly. And that's the dangerous part, because it doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels safe. But here's the good news. Once you understand what's really going on, you can fix it. In this video, I'm going to break down why the safe approach to money often backfires, what most people get completely wrong, and the simple shift that changes everything. All right, let's not sugarcoat this. If your idea of being financially responsible is saving most of your money, avoiding investing because it feels risky, keeping cash in the bank, then you might actually be losing slowly. And I know that sounds extreme, but let's look at reality. Right now, most standard savings accounts offer very low returns. Meanwhile, inflation continues to rise over time. What that means is simple. Your money might be growing, but its buying power is shrinking. So even though you feel safe, you're actually moving backwards. Let that sink in, because it completely flips the script. And this is where it gets even more uncomfortable, because the people who are playing it safe are often the ones taking the biggest risk, the risk of standing still. Now let's break this down further, because this doesn't just affect a few people. It's happening everywhere. Most people are taught the same financial advice growing up. Save your money, avoid debt, don't take risks. And again, that sounds smart. It sounds responsible. But here's the problem. That advice is incomplete. It protects you from losing money, but it doesn't help you grow it. And in today's world, growth is not optional. It's necessary, because everything is getting more expensive. Housing, food, transportation. So if your money isn't growing faster than those costs, you're falling behind, even if you're doing everything right. Now, let's make this real with a simple example. Imagine two people. Person A is responsible. They save $500 every month and keep it in a bank account. Person B does something slightly different. They invest that same $500 consistently into something like the S&P 500. Fast forward 10 years. Person A has saved $60,000. Solid. Safe. Person B? Historically, that money could grow significantly more over time. Not guaranteed in the short term, but powerful in the long run. And that's the difference. Same discipline, same effort, completely different outcome. Because one person protected their money, and the other put to work. Now here's where most people get stuck. They hear this and immediately think, okay, so I just need to invest more. But it's deeper than that, because the real issue isn't just what you do with your money. It's how you think about risk. Most people think risk means losing money in the market, but there are actually two types of risk: short-term risk and long-term risk. Short-term risk is volatility. Prices go up and down. It feels uncomfortable. Long-term risk? That's staying in a system where your money never grows enough. And here's the twist. Most people avoid short-term risk and end up trapped in long-term risk. That's how being responsible backfires. Now, let's go even deeper, because this isn't just about math. It's psychological. Being safe feels good. It gives you control. It removes uncertainty. But investing? It introduces doubt, movement, unpredictability. And humans naturally avoid that, so they choose comfort over growth. And over time, that choice compounds. Not in a good way. Now, let's talk about the real consequences. If your money isn't growing properly, you need to work longer. You need to save more. You have fewer options. And eventually, you reach a point where you realize something. All that responsibility didn't actually buy you freedom. It just delayed the problem. Now I know this might feel a bit uncomfortable, but this is the part most people need to hear. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. So let's shift gears. Because fixing this is not complicated. It doesn't require taking crazy risks. It doesn't require being an expert. It just requires a better approach. Here's the simple plan. Step 1. Redefine what responsible means. Being responsible isn't just about protecting money. It's about growing it. That means accepting some level of volatility as part of the process, because avoiding all risk is actually the biggest risk of all. Step 2. Put your money to work consistently. Instead of letting your savings sit idle, you need to invest them, not randomly, not emotionally, but consistently. Something simple, like regularly investing in the S&P 500. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You just need exposure to growth. Step 3. Automate and ignore the noise. This is where most people fail. They start investing, but they keep watching. Every drop feels like danger. Every headline feels urgent. So they react. They hesitate. They stop. Instead, you need a system. Automatic investing. Set schedule. No overthinking. Because the less you interfere, the better your results tend to be. And this is what separates people over time. Not intelligence. Not timing. Consistency. Now imagine this. 5, 10 years from now, 2 versions of you. In one version, you kept doing what felt safe. You saved. You avoided risk. And your money barely grew. In the other version, you made the shift. You invested. You stayed consistent. And now, your money is working, growing, supporting your life. That gap, it comes from one decision. Whether you redefine what responsible really means. So if you've been playing it safe, if you've been avoiding investing, if you've been waiting for the right time, this is your moment to rethink everything. Because being responsible with money should move you forward, not keep you stuck. So the question is simple. Are you protecting your money, or are you growing it? Because in the long run, only one of those leads to freedom. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most people. Make sure you subscribe and check out the next video where I break down exactly how to build your first investment portfolio step by step. That's where things really start to change. I'll see you there, because once you really understand this, you start to notice it everywhere. You'll see people working hard, earning more than ever, but still feeling stuck. Not because they're careless, but because they're being careful in the wrong way. They avoid investing because it feels risky, but don't realize that doing nothing carries a cost, a silent cost, one that doesn't show up immediately, but builds over time. And that's what makes it so dangerous, because you don't feel it day to day. You don't wake up and think, wow, inflation just reduced my future. It happens quietly, gradually, until one day you look back and realize you've been standing still for years. Now here's where things shift again, because once you accept this, you stop asking the wrong question. Most people ask, how do I avoid losing money? But the better question is, how do I make sure my money keeps growing? That one shift changes everything, because now you're no longer focused on protection alone. You're focused on progress. And progress requires movement. Now let's talk about something practical, because at this point you might be thinking, okay, I get it. I need to invest. But then comes a hesitation. What if I start the wrong time? Here's the truth. There's no perfect time. The market will always feel uncertain. There will always be news, headlines, reasons to wait. But waiting has a cost, and that cost is time. And time is the one thing you don't get back. This is why simple strategies work so well, because they remove the need to guess. Instead of trying to predict the market, you participate in it consistently, over time. That's how people build real wealth, not through perfect timing, but through time in the market. Now, let's address another common mistake. People think once they start investing, everything will feel better. It won't, at least not immediately. Your portfolio will still go up and down. Some days will feel great. Others will make you question everything. And that's normal, because growth and discomfort go hand in hand. But here's the difference. When you understand the process, you stop reacting emotionally. You stop seeing drops as danger and start seeing them as part of the journey. And that's when you gain real confidence. Not because the market becomes predictable, but because you become consistent. Now imagine this. You stay disciplined. You invest regularly. You let your money grow over time. At first, it's slow, but then something changes. Your investments start contributing more. Your growth becomes noticeable. Your confidence increases. And suddenly, being responsible feels completely different, because now it's not about avoiding risk. It's about managing it wisely. And that's the level most people never reach. Not because it's complicated, but because they never make that initial shift. They stay in safety mode. They stay in hesitation. They stay stuck. But you don't have to, because now you see it. You understand that saving alone is enough. Avoiding risk has consequences. Growth is necessary, not optional. And most importantly, you understand that responsibility isn't about fear. It's about making decisions that actually move you forward. So, if you're at the beginning right now, this is your advantage. You can build the right habits early. You can avoid the mistakes most people make. You can put yourself on a completely different path. And that path, it leads somewhere very different. More freedom, more flexibility, more control over your life. Not because you got lucky, but because you made better decisions consistently. So don't aim to be safe. Don't aim to be careful. Aim to be effective, because in the end, that's what actually builds wealth. So one last time, ask yourself, are you being responsible, or are you just being comfortable? Because those two things are not the same. Thanks for watching. If this changed how you think about money, make sure you stick around. And check out the next video where I break down exactly how to start investing step by step. Even if you're starting small, that's where everything really begins. I'll see you there.